know what I'll probably do is I'll finish that up and just get it done. I don't even give a fuck if it reads like shit. Just get it done.
Just get it done. That's what matters for a first draft.
Yes, and I'm really bad about that. I go back over it so many times, and when I'm writing it, I go back and I'll just read a section and I'll go, wait, I don't like this. And so my first draft is usually like the 2054th draft of that one paragraph.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was my problem.
Aw.
Technically,
I've
my
been
first
on like a
draft is
stink
like
of,
my 200th.
I feel like I've gone down the formatting and business setup rabbit hole, and now that I'm actually getting back to writing, it feels weird.
Yeah.
I've been stuck for like the last 2.5 months. When's the last time I fucking wrote, Otter?
It was a few months ago.
I've done that too, though. The books
Yeah.
I'm writing, I've had like a period of a couple months straight where I wrote nothing.
But after I'm done with that first draft, I'm probably just going to move on to them short stories, Otter.
Well,
Oh,
what I'm
really?
Then go
doing right
back.
now is while I'm waiting for betas is taking a break, and then I'll go through once I have, because I have Daniel's reviews. Well, he hasn't sent them yet, but he's finished. Once I get more of those in, then I'll go back, reread it, and then read their notes and see what they're saying and stuff, and then I could go from there on the fixes. But sounds like I got some fixes I got to do.
I still got to somehow include Luigi. That was one of the mistakes. It auto-corrected to
Talk to
Luigi
Luigi.
instead of Loogie. I
Like,
thought I spelled Loogie right, and it auto-corrected, and I was like, okay. And then Otter read it, and he's like, Luigi?
If
That's
there's
great.
one thing that makes me feel better as a writer, it's when I started reading through Huckleberry Finn. There's a little forward in there talking about Mark Twain's writing process with that
Yeah.
book. He started writing into it, and then he shelved it for a few years, let the ideas build up, and then he went back to it and finished it. And I think he was describing that period as it's like you're letting a tank of ideas fill up, and by the end, you know what needs to be done.
Yeah, it's true, because as you're putting the story together, some of the things is like very vague and haphazard. But then when you have things pulling together, you get more toward the end, you realize, oh wait, that'll connect well with this over here, and then you go through and it's just like you it's kind of like setting up a tent. You have everything laid out and it looks like a mess, but then when you go back to go through and you just put
There
the
you
ends
go.
all together, you end up with this nice structure.
For me, it's like I can come up with the ideas decently enough. It's just sometimes it'll take me a fair amount of time to figure out how everything connects together. That's
Yeah.
what's not immediately clear at first.
That's how my short stories start. When we done that night, that's when I came up with the entire idea for the first story frequency and all
Oh,
the names for the other
really?
one. I knew exactly where it was going. I just didn't know. Absolutely didn't fucking do anything. Didn't bullet point or what is it called?
Brainstorming.
No.
Outline.
Outlining it. I didn't outline it at all, but I just knew where it's going. I'm like, all right. I had my original idea and then started writing it. I was like, all right, this is how it's gonna go.
That,
So Wrangler knows this, but my prologue for the story was the original story. It was supposed to be short, and then it grew.
that was your surprise, was the whole book. It's like
Yeah.
all
So
the
it was
characters.
supposed to be under 20K, as for the anthology.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the prologue and went, I want to know what happens after.
I know.
Maji, I think that happened to a lot of us. Mine, I think, was I was only going to have like 8,000 words. It's like 16,000 or whatever right now.
Mine was reversed. Originally, it was like 120,000 words. Now it's 50,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no.
The project that we're doing, I don't think I was the first one to do it, but I was pretty close, and I had this idea, and so I just slapped out the poem in like an hour and a half and threw it out there, so it's like done. Put a couple of drawings, and I was finished. And so now I feel really bad because all y'all have like novels that you've written.
All right, Snow. You can actually date. You can actually date when we started this. We have it was one of the Winged streams. I forgot which one. Is one we fucking
Comic Shop Wednesday was.
No, it was.
That's where the idea to actually do it came from, but when it actually started, Billy Bob
was
Sack
weekly
kicked it all
winging
off.
it because I pushed all y'all to fucking do it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's at 11,522 words.
Then I think
Mine's just a little shorter than yours. It's right at 11,000.
Then I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe a little bit longer. Then R.H. Snow just had like an entire fucking.
And then I look at the book I'm working on right now. It's at 140,530 words.
I'm at
Last month?
68,000 and it's growing.
I know.
Looking at the notes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got, I guess, I don't know, mine always come in, the ones that I'm writing for the series usually come in somewhere around a 120 to 160, 160,000 words.
Here, I got something for y'all. What's a moment that you enjoyed so much you wrote in the first draft that stuck all the way to the end?
Ooh.
Jeez.
May have to think about that one for a moment.
I can't tell you. It's part of the story.
I can't either. It's a spoiler, but I will say the ending of my
Hold up. R.H. Snow. Older. Give me an older book.
Oh, from the first series?
Yeah.
The first
One
series,
that you're
actually,
okay with.
the first series that I wrote, and I didn't know, I just started writing it, and so I knew kind of where it was going, but I didn't know where that book was ending, because that's actually, book one was first started out as book 1 and 2 together. And so this is actually the middle of book 1 and 2 is where the Transmutation Texas ends. And so it's right in the middle of the scene. The ending scene, it just came out that way. Literally, I wrote it and it just happened. And there's almost no, there was one draft I did of it that I went back in and I sort of worked on the dialogue a little bit. But other than that, I didn't plan out how the ending of the book was going to go or anything like that. That literally just happened, and it sets up the entire relationship between the Watcher and Rose, because they were the ones that had it happen. I felt like I literally get I get on a horse and I just ride with my characters. And I've said this before, they are on a trip. And that's the reason the book is called a picaresque. And it's an older form of book. You go on a journey with the characters and you listen to them talk, and they go on this adventure and you're there with them. That's how you do it with Mark Twain and with his Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn especially. And it's based in large on those types of books. And so we just hop on the horse. Well, I'm riding along with you guys. I literally discover what they're doing when they do it, and I just write it down. So when that moment takes place between the Watcher and Rose, it's unscripted. I haven't put it down on paper. They are talking to each other, and I am just there as a witness. And it was really crazy. And it's the first of several interactions like that will happen all the way through the series, where we meet people that I didn't know were coming. And suddenly they're revealed to me. And Dominic is one that shows up, and I know him intimately because to see him come over the horizon, and I suddenly recognized him, and I knew who he was. And I was so excited because he's a reincarnation of my father. And my father's been gone since 1998. But I was writing the book, and all of a sudden this man shows up in a chair on a porch. And I almost cried because I knew exactly who he was. And I was so thrilled he had shown up for the dance. And I thought, gee, I know exactly who this guy is. And he just came out. He just showed up. So that happens over and over again in Watcher of the Dams. I just get to come along for the ride and see who comes to the adventure. And I'm just the scribe. They're real. In my mind, these people are real. And I'm just here to tell you all what happens.
I love it when a character takes on a life of their own. It's like,
yes,
I'm the one writing it, and I didn't know he or she was going to do that.
Yeah, really. Do you ever argue with them? Like, you tell them to stop? Like, no, you cannot do that. And they're like, shut up, I hate you. You know.
I haven't done that yet, but I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't, to be honest.
There's a few I have in mind where I just want, as an author, I want to give them a little nudge in the right direction.
Aw.
A few of them feel a little lost, and I'm like, I just want to point you in the right direction, but I know for the sake of the story, I can't.
Listen, I gave her a frying pan for a reason, Frequency.